Assalamu alaikum to everyone. I'm Dr. Anwar and working in Thalassemia Center of JPMC. Today the topic is adverse blood transfusion reactions, its prevention and management. Transfusion reactions are defined as adverse events associated with transfusion of whole blood or one of its components. These may range from severity from minor to life-threatening. Transfusion reactions are classified into acute and chronic. In acute, these are the immunological reactions like hemolytic, febrile, allergic and transfusion-related lung injuries, TRALI. Non-immunological में bacterial contamination, circulatory overload, physical chemical hemolysis and in delayed transfusion reaction. These are the इम्यूनोलॉजिकल में लेट हेमोलाइटिक ट्रांसफ्यूजन रिएक्शन है, ट्रांसफ्यूजन एसोसिएटेड ग्राफ्ट वर्सेस होस्ट डिजीज हैं, पोस्ट ट्रांसफ्यूजन परप्यूरा है, नॉन इम्यूनोलॉजिकल में ट्रांसफ्यूजन इंड्यूस्ड हेमोसाइड्रोसिस लाइक इन थैलेसीमिया पेशेंट्स और एप्लास्टिक एनीमिया एंड डिजीज ट्रांसमिशन लाइक TTI. The most important is the acute intravascular hemolysis. This is caused by the reaction or caused by the incompatible red blood cell. The most common cause is ABO incompatible transfusion. Reason क्या हो सकते हैं? Errors in the blood request form, taking blood from the wrong patient into a pre-labeled sample tube, incorrect labeling of the blood sample sent to the blood bank, and inadequate checks of the blood against identity of the patient before starting the transfusions. This is caused by antibodies in the patient plasma against other small blood group antigens. सिर्फ रेड सेल की इनकम्पेटेबिलिटी नहीं है, बल्कि जो रेड सेल्स स्मॉल ब्लड ग्रुप्स है उसके एंटीजेंस के अगेंस्ट भी एंटीबॉडी रिएक्ट करती हैं और ट्रांसफ्यूजन रिएक्शंस हो सकते हैं. Sign and symptom usually appear within minutes of commencing the transfusion, even less than 10 ml have been given. So it is important कि जब भी आप कोई ट्रांसफ्यूजन करते हैं तो पहले 10 to 15 मिनट्स पेशेंट्स को ऑब्जर्व करें, क्योंकि जो एक्यूट रिएक्शंस होते हैं, जो सीवियर रिएक्शन होते हैं, वो 10 to 15 ml ब्लड ट्रांसफ्यूजन करने के साथ ही अपीयर हो जाते हैं. Or to prevent the acute intravascular hemolysis reactions, correctly level the blood sample and request form. Place the patient's blood sample in the correct sample tube. Always check the blood against identity of the patient at the bedside before transfusion. Unconscious patient identity should be confirmed by the attendant of the patients. Usually लोग जो हैं वो ब्लड सैंपल्स कलेक्शन के लिए जाते हैं और वो पेरी लेवल ट्यूब्स को लेके जाते हैं और उसमें सैंपल पुट करते हैं, जिसकी वजह से रॉन्ग लेवलिंग की वजह से ज़्यादातर रिएक्शंस होते हैं. So next most common is the bacterial contamination of septic shock. Bacterial contamination affects around the 0.4% of red cells and 1 to 2% of the patient concentrate. Reasons of contamination कि जब कोई फ्लेबोटमी या ब्लड कलेक्शन करते हैं तो उस वक्त जो स्टरलाइजेशन ऑफ द साइट ऑफ होती है फ्लेबोटमी की, वो प्रॉपरली स्टरलाइज नहीं होती, इसकी वजह से स्टाफ come inside the blood bags and then there is a contamination of the blood. A bacteria present in the blood of donor at the time of donation, improper handling and the defects in the damage of plastic bags. Pseudomonas usually grow at the temperature of 2 to 6, so multiply in the refrigerated red blood cell units. Risk increases with the time of refrigeration. जो भी ट्रांसपोर्शन का टाइम है, अगर प्रॉपरली जो आपका स्टोरेज कैपेसिटी है वो प्रॉपर्ली कंट्रोल नहीं है, या ट्रांसपोर्टेशन में, या जो वार्ड में बहुत देर तक ब्लड जो है पड़ा रहता है, जिसकी वजह से जैसे हाई टेम्परेचर होगा बैक्टीरियल कंटामिनेशंस के चांसेस और रिएक्शन के चांसेस एनहांस हो जाएंगे. सो हाउ टू प्रिवेंट दीज बैक्टीरियल कंटामिनेशन? केयरफुल प्रिपरेशन ऑफ द phlebotomy साइट, maintenance of sterility during component preparations, storage temperature within the limits, inspection of blood prior to issue to the transfusion. कि आपके बैग में कोई लीकेज तो नहीं है, कोई उसमें उसका चेंज ऑफ कलर तो नहीं है, हाई टेम्परेचर तो नहीं है. सो वी कैन प्रिवेंट दीज कंटेमिनेशन एंड सेप्टिक शॉक बाय यूजिंग दीज मेथड्स. Number third is the fluid overload. Mostly they result in heart failure and pulmonary edema. This may occur when too much fluid is transfused, the transfusion is too rapid, renal function is impaired, particularly likely to happen in patients with chronic severe anemia, underlying cardiovascular disease. Patient feel a dyspnea, cyanosis, orthopnea, peripheral edema, and sign of pulmonary edema on auscultation. Next. Transfusion associated acute lung injuries is usually caused by donor plasma that contains antibodies against the patient's leukocytes, and it's usually happen with the multiparous female's donation. Rapid failure of pulmonary function usually presents within 1 to 4 hours of starting transfusion, and we diagnose it on the X-ray. There is a diffuse opacity of the X-ray chest. There is no specific therapy. Intensive respiratory and general support in an intensive care unit is required. Next. So coming to the management of acute transfusion reactions, they are classified on the severity of the disease, mild to moderately severe, and mild reactions, there is a sign of localized cutaneous reaction, urticaria and rash. Patients complain of pruritus, itching, and the possible cause is the mild hypersensitivity reaction. Just slow down the transfusion and administer antihistamines like chlorpheniramine by the dose of 0.1 mg per kg. If no clinical improvement within 30 minutes, treat as a category 2. Back. So the second category is the moderately severe transfusion reaction. Patients with a sign of flushing, urticaria, rigors, fever, restlessness, and tachycardia. Patient have a symptom of anxiety, pruritus, palpitation, and mild arrhythmia. There is a possible causes that can cause moderately severe reaction is the hypersensitivity reaction, moderate severe, febrile non-hemolytic transfusion reactions, antibodies to the white cell, platelets, and the proteins. A possible contamination with pyrogens and bacteria. Immediate management of acute transfusion reactions: stop the transfusion and notify the responsible doctor in the blood bank. Send blood unit with infusion set to the blood with the blood new samples and with appropriate request to the blood banks. Give antihistamines by the dose of 0.1 mg per kg. Antibiotic if there is a temperature to the patient. Febrile paracetamol by the dose of 10 mg per kg. Give IV corticosteroids and bronchodilators if there is anaphylactic shock or patient complaining of the dyspnea, bronchospasm and striders. Collect urine for further 24 hours for evidence of hemolysis. If no clinical improvement within 15 minutes, treat as a category 3 severe life-threatening reaction. So the severe category is a life-threatening reaction. There is a complaint of rigor, fevers, almost the same complaints with the moderately severe, but the patient complain there is a hypotension, 20% of the baseline, and there is a tachycardia more than 20% with the life-threatening reactions. Hemoglobin urea, the urine is red in colors, unexplained bleedings, patient may develop the DIC. Patient complain of anxiety, chest pain, or pain near the infusions. What are the possible causes? There is the acute intravascular hemolysis, bacterial contamination and septic shock, fluid overload, anaphylaxis, transfusion associated with lung injury. How to manage these patients? Stop their transfusion. Give normal saline, initially 20 to 30 ml per kg to maintain the systolic blood pressure. Maintain airway and high flow oxygen by the mask. Give adrenalines 1 to 2,000 solutions by the dose of 0.01 mg per kg IM. IV corticosteroids if there is a anaphylactic features like broken spasm and stridor. Diuretics if there is a renal compromise by the dose of 1 mg per kg IV, and send the blood bag with infusion set and fresh sample to the blood bank for further workup. Check the fresh urine specimen for visible sign of hemoglobin urea. Assess the bleeding from the puncture side or wound if there is laboratory evidence of DIC. So transfuse the platelet 5 to 6 as adult dose. If coagulation factor is disturbed, give the FFPs 15 ml, one bag for 15 kg body weight. And if the fibrinogenesis is less than the normal, cryoprecipitase transfusion is mandatory to correct the fibrinogen level. De-assess the patient's hypotension, and if there is still hypotension, give further dose of 20 to 30 ml of the normal saline within 5 minutes. Give inotropes if there is a renal compromise, if urine output is less reduced and there is an increase of urea and creatinine and potassium, give further furosemides, consider dopamine if available, and seek expert opinion. Patient may need the renal dialysis. If bacteremia is suspected, a patient have a rigors, fever, collapse without evidence of hemolytic reaction, is start broad spectrum antibiotics IV. Delayed complication of transfusion reactions. If the delayed hemolytic transfusion reactions is present after 5 to 10 days post-transfusion, patient develops the fever, anemia, jaundice. Usually there is no need of treatment, but the patient develops the hypotension and oliguria, treat as a acute intravascular hemolysis. Prevention: careful laboratory screening for red cell antibodies in the patient plasma and the selection of red cells compatible with these antibodies. Some reactions are due to the rare antigen of small blood groups. The next is post-transfusion purpura. This is fatal complication of transfusion caused by antibodies directed against the platelet-specific antigens in the recipient. So there is a present after 5 to 10 days post-transfusion, increased bleeding tendency and thrombocytopenia. Treatment is by high dose of steroids, high dose of IB, IG, plasma exchange, and preferably if patient have a thrombocytopenia, so compatible platelet is preferably transfused, and there is no significant role of unmatched platelet transfusion in generally effective. How to prevent these rates post-transfusion purpura? Expert advice is essential, and only platelet concentrators that are compatible with the patient's antibodies should be used. The prevention of post-transfusion purpura, the 5 to 10 days post-transfusion occurs, increased bleeding tendency and thrombocytopenia. Okay. Graft-versus-host is a immunocompromised patients of chemotherapy and radiation, bone marrow transplant recipients similarly develop the graft-versus-host disease. Next. Patient present after 10 to 12 days after transfusion, fevers, skin and desquamation of the skin, diarrhea and hepatitis. Treatment usually is a fatal condition, supportive care and non-specific therapy. No specific therapy is available. To prevent these conditions, there's irradiated blood is recommended for these patients to avoid the graft-versus-host disease. Iron overloads, every unit of blood contains 250 mg of iron that the body is unable to excrete, that results in hypohidrosis. This has mostly happened in thalassemia patient, aplastic anemia and chronic hemolytic anemic patients. So prevent to iron binding agents, we recommend the desferrixoctamine, the Disprol injection that bind with the iron and clear the body. The last is the TTI can be prevented. These are 5 reasons are mandatory to screen HIV, Hep C, Hep B, syphilis and malaria in Pakistan and most of the other diseases in the other countries of the world. So these can be prevented by good donor selection, by verbal screening of the donation, and by the up to the mark TTI screening like CLIA and DAT testings. Thank you.